everybody doing them open everybody's here for the beautiful day. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. One, I want to apologize about no live last night. There's a reason for that. We were actually supposed to be going to the BMF watch party. I didn't make it because I just didn't make it. It is what it is. We're supposed to go to the BMF watch party. I did not make it. With that being said, I wish I did because I need to start networking a little bit more. In regards to that, also, today is a basketball day, so I'm in a great mood. You have no idea. I don't know if there's going to be people out there, but I'm going to be out there shooting all the hoops. With that being said, this video, Troy Ave drops, I think it's an album. I think it's like 13 tracks on it. Troy Ave drops 13 tracks. I've heard snippets of it because obviously I don't think it got released yet. I've heard snippets of it. I would love to hear from the Troy Ave fans that have heard parts of this album. What do y'all think about it? Make sure y'all drop it in the comments. Second, I had somebody complaining in the comments recently that I'm kicking people. If you're showing up to the show and what you have to say don't have nothing to do with the topic, you just feel like you want to insult me, I don't have to listen to that. I'm going to explain something to some of you out there that think that you should have the right to say whatever you want. I also have the right to listen to whatever I want. So when you show up on my page, you're just talking crazy, and I don't want to deal with it, I'm going to kick you. That's right. If you show up and you're talking about the actual case, then I know I don't have no opinion on the case. I don't have nothing to say. I'm just going to let y'all talk about it in the comment section. It is what it is. But when you're showing up, and the only reason why you're showing up is to talk crazy, there's a good chance you're going to get kicked because I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to tell you what it is. I don't want to deal with it. With that being said, remember, I don't know who all of you guys are in real life. The extremes that, not everybody, there's a lot of good people in the world, don't get it confused. But the extremes that some weirdos go to when I go outside to try to have an interaction with me make me feel like I have to kick weirdos when I see them in the comment section. I don't know no better way to explain that. I mean, they are, but that's not about me. It's about the show. But I don't know no better way to explain that. I had a dude on the phone the other day pretending he was on the phone so he could try to talk to me and say things that he wanted me to hear while he was on the phone. So I said, so you don't want to deal with this shit, all right? What up, Road Runner? Salute. Nobody don't want to deal with that shit, all right? Nobody don't want to deal with that. Then they say I'm crazy when I respond in a manner. You understand what I'm saying? No, I'm going to respond in a manner that is elicited from what you're doing. I'm just responding. I'm not acting. I'm reacting, okay? You not liking my reaction does not mean that my reaction isn't warranted. With that being said, I want to start this show off. If you are a Troy Ave fan, I want to know what you think about that High Hater I Won song. I am not here to be on no one's side, but I am. That is sonically the best song that and I've only heard the damn chorus, but sonically, that's the best thing I've heard Troy Ave do. Then he got like this other jump off that I heard where he has Manolo in the beginning of the video, right? He has Manolo in the beginning of the video, and he has another Hater song out, and Manolo's like talking about how he was lying on the stand or whatever. I don't know what he was doing on the stand. I'm not here to talk about what he was and wasn't doing on the stand. But Manolo was saying he was lying on the stand, and he got like another Hater track. Troy Ave is about to kill it because you guys have given him so much ammunition. Now, I want to start this show off by saying this specifically. Something that was said in the courtroom. Hold on. I want to start this show off by saying something specifically so you can understand why when I heard the High Hater song, and I'm not on nobody's side. I do just like good music. When I heard the High Hater song, well, I said, you know what? Especially if you ever put BBNNETWORK into the search engine and you see what I'm going through. Or, there's a lot of weirdos that they talk about me more than TAXSTONE talked about Troy Ave. I need to be clear about this. These people are weirdos. If you believe that TAXSTONE mentioning Troy Ave over 700 times in like the span of a couple of years, while Troy Ave only mentioned him like 40 something times, is too much. Then imagine people who every single piece of their content is about Jack Frost. Just think about that for one moment. Now, I'm not trying to send nobody to direct nobody or nothing. I'm not trying to talk trash about nobody. I just want to explain to y'all that High Hater song might have a different feeling for me because of my personal life experiences. With that, hit that like button. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all, when y'all meet me in public, y'all got to come to me with kid gloves. Y'all don't have to be pampering me or nothing like that, but you got to come to me with kid gloves. You got to come to me with the understanding that I have actual people out here that actually, for real in real life, want me dead. I need for you to come to me with that energy. Understanding that, we'll have a much better interaction, I promise you. A couple of years, it was mentioned. I don't know when they actually started it, but the beef started in 2012, so it could have been 10 years. But the point that I'm trying to make isn't that it was how many years it was 10 years. It was something like 10 years. The point in which I'm trying to make is the contrast. It's the contrast that's the issue. You understand? It's the contrast. If Troy Ave mentioned him 600 times and he mentioned Troy Ave 700 times, then that's not really a difference. It doesn't matter the amount of time that had passed. If Troy Ave mentions him 700 times and he mentions Troy Ave 1,000 times, then it doesn't matter, because the time that passed doesn't matter, because that means that they're going back and forth. You understand? If that makes any sense? At least that's what I thought, just so we could be clear, the prosecution was alluding to, and I thought they was alluding to that pretty well. They did a pretty good job on that, in my opinion. I could be wrong. You can have your own opinion, yo. I literally forgot which day they posted it on, so I'm gonna need a second. I'm going to read y'all comments too, so keep commenting. There's gonna come a point. You know, somebody told me to stop reading y'all comments, so y'all really need to be in my chat telling them mofos to mind their damn business. They don't want me to read y'all comments and give y'all shout outs. Y'all need to tell these mofos to mind their business whenever they in the chat trying to tell me to stop doing this. If they don't like our style, they could go somewhere else, right? Day 6, 7, day 7, right? I think it was day 7. Hold on. I forgot who it was. Day 7, right? I think it was day 7. I want to get the exact number. That's all. I want to make sure it's not in the old book before I start looking at the new. I ain't gonna lie, man. The song is hard, man. I don't know about I haven't heard the verses, but but the damn chorus is hard, man. I don't know what to tell you. Y'all people beefing with him. I don't think y'all want it. Y'all, I need for one of y'all guys that's beefing with Troy Ave to try to respond. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. One of y'all dudes that's beefing with Troy Ave, I need y'all to, okay, day 7. One of y'all dudes beefing with Troy Ave, I need y'all to try to respond. For real, for real. Why not? Y'all guys, everybody mad at him. He went to the studio. Y'all should be in the studio too, right? Am I wrong or am I right? I might be wrong. What the hell do I know? The one good thing is I know exactly where on the page I wrote it. So as soon as I see it, as soon as I get to the page, I'll immediately see it. Dear hater, I won. I was like, what the fuck, damn? I ain't gonna lie. This shit is hard. I'm sorry for all the people that's on the other side, man. This shit is hard. Y'all got to get in the studio at the end of the day. That's your man, right? Y'all got to get in the studio because TAXSTONE isn't a rapper, and TAXSTONE doesn't have the option right now to be able to closing arguments. I believe is going to be on Tuesday. I forgot if we got to be the court on Monday. I think I'm just going to show up anyway. I want to get the exact numbers. That's all. Give me a second. Sheesh. I know I should have been ready. You don't got to tell me. I didn't think it was going to be this difficult to look for. And yes, I keep looking up to see if y'all hitting the like button. All right, so I don't remember Troy Ave's number. I do remember TAXSTONE's number. And TAXSTONE number for mentions and ats on Instagram and Twitter was 714. And during that same corresponding time, Troy Ave's mentions and ats back at TAXSTONE was like in the 40s or the 50s. So what I'm saying is, I don't care. I'm not speaking about when it started and when it ended. I'm talking about the difference in the interactions. And I'm going to explain why in a second. And this is why I keep telling y'all, stop going on the internet and talking crazy about people. Go live your life. Stop doing that. Because as soon as something goes sideways, those internet posts that you made about that person is going to get you in trouble. Especially if that's like the only person you're talking crazy about. You notice they did not allow any of the other, for everybody that don't know, the judge, the court, not the judge, the court, because this is law. The court didn't allow any other interactions come into play that TAXSTONE might have had with other people on the internet, or that Troy Ave would have had with other people on the internet. You understand? So if your thing is, if you get in trouble, you're going to go to court and say, see, look, I talked about these other people also. That wasn't allowed into court. I'm going to say this again. That was not allowed in the court. So the jury has no idea how many other people TAXSTONE and Troy Ave was beefing with, and they have no idea about what they were saying, how long it was, and whatever the hell happened. You want to know why? Because as far as the courts is concerned, that's not relevant. That's all prejudicial. I'm going to explain something real quick. Y'all do know most of the time y'all talking about people on the internet and y'all going back and forth with people on the internet, the statements that you're making is generally just prejudicial statements. Most of the things that said don't have anything to do with facts. Usually when a person is arguing with a person on the internet and they arguing facts, they lose. The person arguing opinions and shit that didn't even happen, They win almost every fucking time. You're not going to be able to bring those arguments into court. So what will happen is you'll be in court and the other side got a ton of shit to say about you and you don't have nothing because all of the things that you have to say are prejudicial and don't have nothing to do with the topic. Remember how I be talking about things and then people try to come in and say, well, this other thing happened. And I'm like, yeah, but that don't matter. That don't got nothing to do with what we're talking about. Yo, yes, it does because I say, no, it doesn't. You understand? So a lot of things that could have possibly have been said to help the jury understand the relationship that both of these men might have in the music industry or with the music industry or just with the public in general wasn't even allowed to be brought into court. Why? Because it has nothing to do with the incident of that night. When I tell y'all, I'll be up here telling you law. When I tell y'all this, and then I have people come into the chat and try to argue me their fucking opinion. You have no idea how disappointed I am when I have people that I know better agree with them. I be disappointed. I don't be angry. I be disappointed. You gotta know better than that. How often do I be right? How often do I hit the nail on the head? I'm looking for, we're going to have to skip over that. We're going to have to just go through it because I forgot which was the lady that actually talked about it. I believe it was the last lady, right? The lady I didn't get named, right? Hold on. I think it was the lady I didn't have named. I'm constantly telling y'all how the courts work, man. I don't know what to tell you. Constantly. I'm not right 100% of the time, but I promise you I'm right more than I'm not. He says, I'm not this bad, I'm disappointed. I'll be disappointed, homie. If you sit up in here and watch me be 100% hitting the nail on the head, telling y'all about what's going to happen a year later, telling y'all about what's going to happen 6 months later, telling y'all what's going to happen a year and a half later, hitting the nail on the head, and then some weirdo come in here and try to argue me some bullshit, and I tell y'all it's bullshit, but you side with the weirdo, yeah, I'm disappointed. Do the weirdo got facts? If the weirdo don't got facts, I'm like, what the hell, fam? I'm disappointed. That's a fact. Oh, that's why I got the wrong book. It's the third book. I had the wrong book. My apologies. My dude, I don't know. I don't know if the Lord gave me the blessing of prophecy or not, or anything like that. But I'll be up here and I'll be telling y'all what's going to happen years before it happened. And that's a fact. And the videos are still up. This is not me just talking shit. This is a whole fact. The videos are still up, homie. If you in here right now and you've ever heard me say some shit at least 6 months before it happened, drop some froze. I had the wrong book that whole time. I forgot there was 3 books. All right, here we go. Shout out to Bears. Salute. You better tell these dudes they don't know about me. I don't have no opinion on the case. I don't have no opinion on no cases I'm covering. Better tell them, Bear, they don't know about me. All right, so September 9th, I believe between 2012, I'm going to give you that. 2012, So we're talking about between 2012 and 2016. That's not 12 fucking years. Why do I believe they're talking about between 2012 and 2015? Because during Troy Ave's testimony, what he said was, just so we could be clear on why I'm saying 2012 and 2016. He says, around 2012 was the first time he came to know of TAXSTONE after a tweet in which where he was mentioned. Then when he replied back, 2012, when he replied back, he said, that's when all of the shenanigans started. So we're talking about 4 years between 2012 and 2016. Because guess who's been in jail since 2016? You got it, TAXSTONE. I'm not coming at tax. It's just somebody tried to say 12 years. Now I need for the people that said 12 years to explain to me why it's 12 years and it's not 4. So in that period of time, just so we can be clear, because that's the only period in time that the person who did the graph looked at. They didn't look at no other period of time. That's the only time frame they was told to look at up until 2016. So between September 9th, 2012 and May 25th, 2016, TAXSTONE added Troy Ave 244 times and mentioned him 470 times on Twitter and Instagram, which comes up to a total of, pardon me, I was wrong earlier when I said 714, which comes up to a total of 718. Why do I have 14? I should say 14. No, 714. Yeah, I got it right, actually. I wrote it down wrong. The defense has rested their case. I'm going to read some comments in a moment. Keep the comments coming. Troy Ave, in that same amount of time, mentioned or added or mentioned TAXSTONE on Instagram and Twitter 58 times. Now, I don't know who's going to be found guilty of any of this. And I don't know who's going to be found not guilty of any of this. But I can say without a shadow of a doubt that if you was a juror and you believed one person was stalking another person, and this is information that was presented to you, it would be pretty difficult for TAXSTONE, unless some of those mentions and some of those tweets were positive. I don't know if they were. It'll be pretty hard for TAXSTONE to say that Troy Ave was the one after him. That's just my opinion. Y'all want my opinion, right? That's my opinion on something. Now, between January 1st, 2016 and May 25th, 2016, TAXSTONE added on Instagram and Twitter, added Troy Ave 43 times, and on Instagram and Twitter mentioned Troy Ave 107 times. While during that same period of time, January 1st, 2016 to May 25th, 2016, Troy Ave added on Instagram and Twitter 0 times and mentioned TAXSTONE 7. I want to say something. Y'all niggas need to have, for lack of a better term, what do you call the dudes that drive all the drunk people home? That go out to party, they don't drink, don't smoke, don't get high at all, but they drive everybody home because they stay sober. Designated driver. Y'all dudes need to have a designated driver when y'all go out. That one person that y'all hang out with that don't do no crimes, that don't got no dirt going on, that's perfectly clean. I'm going to explain why. Because I hear all of these people saying that that Troy Ave is lying. But I don't hear no one getting on the stand. I didn't see anybody get on the stand. I hear all of these people saying that. I'm going to start reading the comments when we get up to 50 likes. I hear all of the people on the stand. I hear all of these people in the courtroom and whatnot, and just in general on social media. And I don't know if Troy Ave is lying. And I'm not saying Troy Ave is lying. And I'm not saying Troy Ave is telling the truth. I'm not engaged in that conversation. What I am saying is, I hear all of these people talking about Troy Ave is lying, but I don't see not near person taking that stand. You want to know why? Because y'all don't got no designated drivers with y'all. Y'all don't got nobody with y'all that could get on the stand without being in some way, shape, or form. They might have some questions asked to them that's going to implicate them in a crime here or crime there. Because when you become a witness, they can ask about your credibility. So I'm going to say this again. You dudes need to start having some designated damn drivers with y'all. Dudes that don't commit any damn crimes. Your lawyers never told y'all this? So your lawyers never told y'all that you have to, I promise you, people that's higher up the chain, whenever they got to go to one of these situations, I promise with you they got one of these dudes with them. They got probably 2 or 3 people with them that could be fucking witnesses. I promise you. If they don't, they lawyers failing them. You go get a person, you making money, you make sure that they're comfortable to a degree. You put them in the area so they can make their own money, whatever the case might be. And you keep that designated driver with you. So when something go left, they don't even get involved, but they can witness. They can witness. Because right now, if everybody is saying, and I'm not saying Troy Ave is telling the truth, I am not saying Troy Ave is lying, I don't have the slightest idea. I wasn't there. That's not my business. But what I will say is, a lot of people are saying Troy Ave is lying. Troy Ave's story sounds fantastical. Okay? His story sounds fantastical. But TAXSTONE don't got nan nigga that could get on the stand for him. And why is that? Put it in the chat. Why does TAXSTONE not have nan nigga that could get on the stand for him? If I'm saying anything wrong, please explain to me what I'm saying wrong. Please, just be respectful because I don't want to have to kick people. Tell me what I'm saying wrong. If I'm saying anything wrong, tell me what I'm saying wrong. When we get to 50 likes, I'm going to start reading comments out loud and responding back to comments. When we get to 50 likes, I'm going to start responding back to comments. The only comments I'm going to respond back to right now is when I say something directly and somebody directly says something back to me. Other than that, I'm not responding to any comments or reading any comments until we get to 50 likes. When we get to 70 likes, I'm going to go back over Troy Ave's testimony. When we get to 70 likes, I'm going to go back over Troy Ave's testimony in its entirety. Hi, Ross says, this is exactly what you said. Because remember, people are busy trying to tell y'all that I'm crazy and don't listen to nothing I say. Don't forget that part. Lady Locks, Hi, Ross says that Lady Locks responded right back. Lady Locks, I think you missed my point. I know people that hang out with thugs and don't get their name dirty. I think you're missing my point. My point is to have somebody around you which you specifically make sure stays clean. That's my point. I think you're missing my point. I'm not talking about have somebody around. They're not handling no guns. They're not handling no drugs. They're not getting involved in no shenanigans. That's not even a lifestyle. When they're not around you, they're busy doing the right thing. You understand? Their literal job is to be there, make sure that when something goes down, if something goes down, you can have somebody that could get on that damn witness stand. And we need to change the definition of what a snitch is. If you don't understand what I'm saying, and it don't make sense, I'm not going to sit here responding back to you. You don't understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to keep talking because I don't have time to just try to explain this to you, because I think what I said was just, I think that was a pretty good explanation. If you can't understand it, you're not going to, it don't matter how many times I try to explain it, you're just not going to understand. When we get to 70 likes, we're going to go over Troy Ave's testimony. Right now, I'm going to go over the testimony of a full-time character witness. Something like that. Not necessarily a character witness, but you understand what I'm saying. You get it. And I already see other people get it too. So I've explained it well enough. For the people that don't understand, that's just because there's nothing I can say. You're just never going to understand. I'm not going to try to get you to understand. It seems like everybody understands except for that one person. So I did a good job. It seems like everyone understands except for that one person. So I'm feeling like I'm doing a good job. All right, let's get to it. First, when we get to 50 likes, also, I'm just taking all questions based on what's happened in the court and based on testimony. I'm not taking, when we get to 50 likes, when we get to 70 likes, we're going to go over Troy Ave's testimony. And if we get to 100 likes, I might take some calls through Instagram and let y'all call me on Instagram and voice your comments when we get to 100 likes. Also, we don't know how long the show is going to be, so you should probably start hitting that like button. All right, so a couple of things I want to say real quick. Now, we just spoke about some things that were damning to the defense. Now I want to talk about some things that might actually be helpful for the defense. Is that fair? That's fair, right? We spoke about some things that's kind of damning to the defense. Now I'm going to speak about some things that's helpful to the defense, just so we can be clear. Troy Ave told the same story that girl told that the defense called. He told the same story. Hold on. We're going to read Troy Ave's story. When we get to 70 likes, I'm going to go over Troy Ave's story. We got 11 more likes, and I'm going to start reading comments. Let's hit that like button. So, real quick, I'm going to go over what Homegirl said. Which book? So, real quick, I'm going to go over what Homegirl's story was. I'm going to go over what Homegirl's story was. Hold on. All right, here we go. This is what Homegirl said. Miss Ibrahim. She said she didn't know Tax personally, but knew who he was. She met him that night in the green room. She asked Tax for some Douce. He went and got it. And then there's actual video recording of TAXSTONE pouring her Douce and them like chilling or whatever. Shout out to the Art of D Glass. Salute, my brother. Said, just so we could be clear, there was a recorded video. Then it said, and authority asked her only a few weeks before the trial. So the prosecution, this is the implication I'm assuming. This is all assumptions on my part. They knew who this girl was because they already went and got the video from her of TAXSTONE pouring the drink for her. So they knew who she was a long time ago. I'm assuming over a year ago. So the fact that they only just spoke to her a couple of months ago, it's like they weren't doing an investigation. At least this is the implication that I believe the defense was trying to say. They wasn't doing an investigation to try to find out who did it. They were just simply doing an investigation to try to say it was TAXSTONE. So therefore, any information that didn't point at TAXSTONE, they weren't interested in. I believe, because this is the defense asking her these questions, I believe that is what the implication was. That's what he was implying. And then she answered back that the authorities only asked a few weeks before the trial. She said yes. She said she entered the VIP room from the second VIP room, just to be clear. She said she was there for an hour after he poured the drinks. Said that TAXSTONE was there being affable. He was networking. He was in a jovial mood. There wasn't any malice intent. He wasn't there being angry. He wasn't there being upset. He wasn't there being angry. He wasn't there being upset. It was none of that. All right? She said that after the first hour, he poured her drinks. A group of men came inside the room, jumped all over Tax, 3 or 4 of them, and she names Troy Ave specifically. That's literally the story that Troy Ave says. Hold on. She goes on to say they walked in full force, jumped on top of him, fighting him. He dropped during the battle and was curled up in the fetal position. Now, I'm going to go specifically to something that Troy Ave said, just so we can be clear. Troy Ave testified on day 8 of the trial. Troy Ave says, out of his own mouth, this is what Troy Ave said. Troy Ave said, Benga says he's going to rock him. Troy Ave winks. Tax, then, he says, started looking like he was reaching for something. Troy Ave reached, threw a punch over Benga's shoulder and hit him first. That's what Troy Ave said, out of his own mouth, right? She testified they walked in full force and jumped on top of him, fighting him. We up to 51 likes. I'm about to start reading comments. So, doesn't that sound like they're saying the same thing, or is that just me? I'm asking, does that sound like they're saying the same thing, or is that just me? Because this just sounds like perspective. I'm not here to talk about whether somebody was believable or not. Stop asking me those type of opinions. You could ask whatever you want. I'm just not going to answer. So I'm going to say this again. Listen to what she says, and then I'm going to tell you what. Shout out to Charlie Champion. Listen to what she. When we get to 70 likes, I'm going to read Troy Ave's entire testimony over. When we get to 100 likes, I'm going to start inviting y'all guys via Instagram to come up and talk. So listen, pay attention. I'm obviously going to vet y'all. And if y'all calling from a account that I can't look at your page, don't even waste your time. I got to be able to look at your page and everything. Don't even waste your time. And if you don't got pictures of yourself on your page, don't waste your time. All right, with that being said, this is what she says. She was there for an hour. He poured her drinks. A group of men came inside and jumped all over Tax. It was 3 or 4 of them. She specifically says one of them was Troy Ave. She said they walked in full force and jumped on top of him, fighting him. He dropped his bottle and was curled up in the fetal position. Troy Ave says, I'm going to go even one thing back to even be more fair. Troy Ave says he heard what's popping twice. He ignored it. Then he heard Banker say it and knew that there was an issue and figured out whose voice it was. Saw him reach towards what he was gesturing about a gun, right? So this is why I started over and start from here. Banger says, I'm going to rock him. Troy winks and says, go. Just so we can be clear, I believe he's saying TAXSTONE referenced that he had a gun on him, and Banger said, I'm going to rock him. And then Troy said, go. Tax reaching like he was about to pull. Banger, then Troy throws a punch at TAXSTONE while reaching for his gun. He was unable to grab the gun. And then there was a commotion. Troy Ave threw the first punch, and then there was a commotion. Her story is they worked in full force and jumped on top of him, fighting him. This sounds like the damn near the same exact story. Am I wrong? I'm going to go refresh my coffee. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to read some comments. But am I wrong? That doesn't sound like the same damn story. $75, because I want to keep it a round number. So intervals of 25 is what I mean, instead of intervals of 20 and then 30. It does that put it. I just want to, if you think that sounds like the same story, drop some frost in the chat. Be right back. If you think that sounds like the same story, drop some frost in the chat. Give me a second. I'm going to scroll up a little bit when I get ready to start reading the comments. Hit that like button. When we get to 75 likes, we're going to prepare to read back Troy Ave's testimony. I'm going to go through the entirety of the testimony that I have obviously notes on. And then when we get to 100 likes, I'm then going to allow for some of y'all to come on and voice what you think about whoever you want to think about, with the exception of me, because we ain't talking shit about me. I'll let you voice your opinions on the trial. When we get to 100 likes, just make sure that you have an Instagram account that I can look at to make sure that you're not some weirdo ass troll that I don't want to deal with. It's that simple. It's looking nice outside. I think I'm gonna go hoop out today. I would have hooped out yesterday, but I thought I was going to the BMF jump off. I thought I was gonna go to the BMF thing, so I didn't play no basketball yesterday. It looks like it's gonna be nice today. I'm hooping out today. Let me look at the comments real quick. My water's almost warm enough for me to pour it. I'm going to read some comments. Get your comments down there. Shout out to the Art of D Glass. Appreciate you being here. One of these days, we're going to get some new admins. Also, we're not getting rid of you. I mean, add. That's if they want to be a part of, you know, the bullshit that usually happens over here. You'll see. Move this a little bit closer to me. Okay. Let's read some comments real quick. I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to go to a specific comment that I saw that was interesting. Shout out to Mel B. Oh, wait. Before that one. Body Chills Class says that is Trife Gangsta a rat lover for riding with Troy. How do you know Trife is riding with Troy? Like, how do you know that? Mel B says, checkmate. Troy defended himself by painting Av a rat. Tax pushed himself into a corner where he can't defend himself or ask any of his people in the green room to take a stand on his own behalf. You think it's because of that, or you think it's just because those guys don't want to have nothing to do with the judicial system? Kenneth Fitzgerald says, because remember, this is something that you got to remember also. If the government is prosecuting somebody and then you decide to go take the stand, the government looks through everything you've been doing. So some of these guys might just not want the government to be paying attention to them that closely. That could be it also, just so we can be clear. So it might be a situation where it's not that they don't want to help tax. It's just that, you know, they want to make sure that they don't put themselves in a compromised position. And you can't really get upset at nobody for that specifically. That's why I said people have to start having that designated driver around with you, that dude that don't get into nothing. And he could go take the stand. Kenneth Fitzgerald says, good morning, Jack. What's up, buddy? Good morning. How you doing? Mel says, top of the morning, Jack, brother. How you doing? Boom. Money Over Fame says, I'm late. What did I miss? A whole lot. Mel didn't ask me my opinion about a thing. I'm not answering. Can you start over? I'm not starting over, but I will be reading the testimony over when we get to 75 likes. I said 75, right? Because I retconned it. 75 likes. I will be reading Troy Ave's testimony over at one point. So yeah, you're gonna be getting the story again at that time. Shout out to Brooklyn 456. Mel says sounds similar. Rich Blackman says Troy got Banger killed, unfortunately. Shout out to Charlene Champion dropping those frosts. Shout out to Road Run. He says, yeah, it kind of sounds the same. Shout out to Mike says it sounds a bit different, but you can figure out what happened. Hubby R says the fight started with Troy Banger and Associate seeing Tax and setting it off. That's literally what Troy Ave says, in my opinion. Y'all ask me my opinion on stuff. That sounds like what Troy Ave says. Maybe that's not what his intended purpose is for those words, but it does sound like that's what he says. Roadrunner says, it's just crazy because the man harassed dude. Now he has the nerve to play victim. Taxes cooked from the harassment. I do agree that all of the harassment, these are the things I could give you opinions on. I do agree that all the harassment does make it seem like TAXSTONE was the instigator that night. I don't know if he was the instigator, and I'm not saying that he was, just so we can be clear. But whenever you're on the internet harassing people like that, there's also a part of individuals that don't want that person to win. You understand? So what you have to also understand is, like, if you're harassing somebody, then something bad happens to you. There's a lot of people that believe that's your fault. You shouldn't have been harassing that person. So, and I'm not saying Tax was, I mean, you could decide if that was harassment or not. I told you the numbers. L Boogie says, a dude talking about 4 years, it's popping when I see you. A dude talking about you 4 years, it's popping when I see you. Money Over Fame says, so if Troy and Benga were the aggressors, isn't that manslaughter at least self-defense? The prosecution actually, it was murder 1. Prosecution actually want to change it to manslaughter 1. I believe they're going to be working on that Monday. Hubby R says, nah, not sure what that's about. Just listen, he telling you again, same story, similar. Roadrunner says, if Tax hadn't said all the stuff previously, he might have a case, but nah, dude, went too far. They try to prove some BS. I do 100% agree that whenever you're on social media and you're constantly adding, mentioning, or speaking on someone else, and they're not adding, mentioning, and speaking on you nowhere near at the same degree, I do believe that if you ever end up in court, those things are 100% going to go against you. Hakeem says Tax protected himself. Problematic, dropping frost. Shout out to everybody dropping frost in the chat. Kansas City says, fact remains, Troy didn't say a word until Tax wrote a letter to the judge. No way in hell he was supposed to eat them charges. For everybody that don't know, TAXSTONE wrote a letter to the judge, and the letter that TAXSTONE wrote to the, not TAXSTONE, pardon me, TAXSTONE's lawyer wrote a letter to the judge, and the letter that TAXSTONE's lawyer wrote spoke about the situation where Benga was involved in a shooting outside of a club over a girl or whatever the case is. They actually tried to bring this into this trial, and it wasn't allowed. So the judge said that that's prejudicial. We're not going to, remember when the judge said that we're not going to put the deceased on trial? It was over the circumstances that revolved around the reason why Benga was in jail and Troy Ave had to bail him out. It was over that. And yes, Troy Ave did not agree to help the government until that letter was sent to the judge. And I was the first person, I believe, that interviewed him after that letter was sent to the judge, just so we could be clear. And I believe that that interview was still up on the page. Shout out to Melly. I think I interviewed him. I know I spoke with him. I think I interviewed him. I think it was an interview. I don't think it was just him hitting me up and us talking. You understand? I think it was an interview. In any regard, MC says it sounds like Troy got his man killed over words. Melly Mel says, do you think after what you've seen, TAXSTONE might have a chance? I told you I'm not answering those questions. Roadrunner says Tax escalated stuff and then went overboard by pulling out a gun. I think often people think that when you pull a gun or show somebody you have a gun, niggas ain't on go. And I'm going to tell you this from personal experience, because I know dudes that's been shot at a lot. After you get shot at and seen a certain amount of guns, a certain amount of times, you stop. That don't affect you the same way. Like that affect a nigga that never had nothing pulled on him and never been shot at. Do y'all remember the story that they told during the Treyway case, where basically, um, uh, uh, Nuke, Free Nuke, where basically Nuke was walking down the street and he had previously robbed somebody. So the person that he robbed saw him and he was in a vehicle, and they saw Nuke and they wanted to shoot him so bad that the dude, the young buck, didn't even roll down the window and he shot through the window. And then Nuke turned around and instead of ducking and dodging and running, he actually walked closer to them so he could see who was shooting at him. Treyway shit. That's some Brooklyn nigga shit. I don't know what else to tell you. That's some Brooklyn nigga shit. Tell me where the lie at. Roadrunner says Tax and the rapper Troy was supposed to be there. That's a fact. Tax do stuff that make it so that he's supposed to be there. I hope we didn't kick Nightman. I hope we didn't kick Nightman. I hope that wasn't a kick. I'm not sure why you deleted his message. I hope that wasn't a kick. He must have said something later. Let me be quiet. He probably said something later. He probably said something later. Let me be quiet. You know your job. You do your job pretty well. But if he's just voicing his opinion on the trial, please do not kick him and allow for the comments to come through. I don't understand why Nightman was kicked. That might have been an accident. Unkick him. Make sure he's not kicked. All right, Nightman isn't kicked. You just put him on the timeout. Copy. I could have also not seen the message while you put him on the timeout. Because I don't even see these right now. Let me grab this one. Oh, Huddy. That sounded crazy to me. Huddy, not hubby. Copy. I actually want to respond back to some of these Nightman comments. Y'all can't see them, but I'm going to respond back to one or two of them. What up, Ayrton? What up, Alkaline? What up, T Small says, what reason would Troy have to go to the hood? I don't know. You probably responding to somebody else. You think Tax got shot at beating this? I have no idea. Fiction says Trife is rising for justice. Shout out to Trife. For everybody that don't know, Trife gangster, Trife, Shanduke McFadder, he actually ran for Brooklyn Borough president also. He actually ran for Brooklyn Borough president. So he's not out there trying to, he's out there trying to, at least I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know enough about what he's doing but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not out there trying to help create change, positive change. I Am King says, LLC says, good morning, Fro. Salute. Krieger Bailey says, Jamaica in the building. Rugi Hauser says, peace. What up, 845 says, I think it's number 2. Rugi Hauser says, I can't even lie. The new Troy app, man, that new Troy app still some. You dudes, I don't want to hear you niggas that's free and rappers. If you free and you a rapper, I don't want to hear you talking about, I don't know why he did that to you, homie. I have no idea. I didn't do it. All right. I don't know why he did that. I have no idea. But I don't want to. I'll speak with him later. I don't got time for that. Don't do that to nobody. Why you timed them out though? Oh, it was a mistake. Please rewrite all of your comments. Please rewrite all of your comments. All of the comments that you put, I actually wanted to respond back to. Give me 1 second. I'll talk with this guy about that later. Please don't be timing people out or hiding people by accident if possible. I'm very happy that you're here to help with the kick-ins. But we're only kicking people that's talking crazy about me. We're allowing for everybody else to be able to voice their opinion. We're only kicking people that's talking crazy about me. Montgomery Esquire. If people are in here and they're emotional or they feel away about a thing, we're allowing for them to talk. We're only kicking the people who talking crazy about me. I didn't kick you, Nightman. He said it was an accident. Let's get back to it. Yes, they added manslaughter. I think I might do a whole entire show on that, to be honest with you. But I think I want to do the whole entire show on that after Monday. But we'll speak on it, just so we can be clear. Kim's reaction says, I think the prosecutor realized TAXSTONE could beat the murder charge, and that's why she added manslaughter. I'm trying to explain this to you, right? And we universally, for the most part, agree on Homegirl's story about what happened and what Troy Ave said. You could put them shits on top of each other. It's damn near the story traces itself. Once again, usually when somebody does that and I ask them and they take too long to respond, I take the admin thing away. He didn't take too long to respond, so we're going to see if it happens again. But sometimes if people kick somebody and they take too long to respond, I feel like they're not being genuine. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll be like, there might be some shit. Maybe you beefing with that person on a different page and you bringing it over here, and I don't want that to happen. Then I take the admin for a couple of days and then I give it back. Like any good boss would do, or like what any good manager would do. That's just what you would do. But he responded pretty quick and he rectified the problem. I didn't have to fix it. All right, with that being said, also, if you are enjoying the show today, we're over an hour in. If you are enjoying the show today, you can always pull up to the Cash App and help support what we're doing. Listen. All right, listen. I want to be clear on this. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. My opinion is her story and his story match. That's my opinion. Copy? That's my opinion. Her story and his story match. Shout out to NH. I don't know who you are in the chat. I don't want to say your government. Shout out to NH with the $5 drop. Definitely appreciate you, my brother. Who's next? Pulling our blessings down from the heavens. So I want to be clear on this. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. Her story and his story match. The only difference is perspective. That's it. That's why I believe the prosecution changed or wanted to add, because they didn't change anything. They wanted to add more charges. I believe the prosecution didn't think that she was going to take the stand. Now, there's more things that is about to be added and given to the jury come Monday or Tuesday, just so we can be clear. They're called shout out to Ark with the $5 drop. No comment. Clint Eastwood eyes. You're right, bastards. Who's next? Pulling our blessings down from the heavens. So they had a rebuttal. Basically, after everybody do whatever they're gonna do, and the defense rests their case, they have a rebuttal, because basically they're saying that one of the witnesses, they have some information that they want to say about this particular witness. We're gonna go over that. I'm gonna make a whole video about that also, but we're gonna go over that. At some point, we're gonna get back to our 10-minute videos, and I'm gonna absolutely kill it, and y'all gonna be happy. All right, I promise you. At some point or another, we're gonna get back to our 10-minute videos, and I'm gonna kill it. So their stories are damn near photocopies of each other. It's just different perspectives. I believe that the prosecution, you asked me my opinions, these are one of my opinions. I believe the prosecution added the extra charges because there has to be somebody else. If there's even one person on the jury that thinks that they're telling the same story, then there's also a good chance, and I'm not saying that I do, that there's a person on the jury that actually believes or thinks that there's a good chance that TAXSTONE was attacked. And we're talking about New Yorkers here. What up, True? You must have seen me a long time ago. And we're talking about New Yorkers here. Just so we can be clear. I don't know if you want me to shout out who this is. I don't want to say your government, even though your government is kind of in the chat. But shout out the homegirl. All of the prettiness. You bring it with you everywhere you go. With the dub drop. Every time you walk in the room, you bring the pretty. You bring all of the pretty. Shout out to Sharice. Definitely appreciate you. I don't know why I keep looking at it over there. I should be looking at it over here because it allows me to see everything. In any regard, we're going to skip some of these, go down to the bottom a little. Put your comments in there. I'm responding right now. Right now, I'm responding back to what you guys are saying. Are y'all ready for me to do Troy Ave's testimony over? Let me know if y'all ready, because we already read 75. If you're ready for me to do Troy Ave's Troy Ave's part over when he took the stand, let me know. Well, Michael Finley, ain't seen you in a while. Hope everything is good. Free Rod Diggs. Shout out to East Flatbush. Also, drop wherever you from. Sharice says there was a total of 5 DNAs on the gun. They didn't know the finger tax. Troy went before the grand jury. That's how tax got picked up. Roadrunner says I accidentally kicked people. I went over that. Sharice, Kansas City responds back to Sharice and said they knew the same night because Casanova got caught on a wiretap. Roadrunner says, do y'all want me to do a debate show? Hey, if y'all want me to do a debate show, I'm going to allow for 2 pro-tax people and 2 anti that think TAXSTONE should be found guilty or whatever the case is. I'll allow for y'all to come up here and actually debate on our program. I'll put the StreamYard up, and I will allow for y'all to debate. I'm just going to be the moderator in the middle. Whereas if y'all want me to refer back to something from the trial, I will. And other than that, I'll call people out on things that's not accurate, and I'll basically allow for you guys to do the debate. If y'all want that to happen, let me know. Glass says, didn't Troy say they didn't jump tracks? Troy said out of his mouth, I don't know if Troy said out of his mouth they didn't jump tax, but he said, Banger said that he's gonna hit him basically. He told Banger to hit him. He gave him the wink to go ahead and said go. And then he threw a punch before Banger could actually hit him. So TAXSTONE was alone. I want to know what you call that. I'm speaking directly to you, Glass. No, you're not going to get kicked. L Bookie says this case is about a shooting at a nightclub in Manhattan. Everybody get caught going straight to prison. Huddy says the jury is going to find Tax guilty on the body. Freddie M says, top of the morning, BBN. I was in court with you the other day. We was kicking it in the waiting to get in. Salute. Oh, all right. Salute. I think I know who you are. Trife Gangster says, Frost, how do her story remember? She said she was sitting on the fridge at the time it popped off. Don't forget. Okay. You're the real Trife Gangster. Trife, if you want to come in and talk, hit me on Instagram right now. If you want to come in and say your piece, hit me on Instagram right now. Got me? I'm answering you right now on Instagram if you want to come in and say your piece. So, I'm going to read this whole comment over. And I'm going to explain. Trife says, Frost, how do her story mirror? She says she was sitting on the fridge at the same time it popped off. Don't forget, Oscar testified before her that he turned to get ice cream that was on the fridge. I guess the question here is, who do you think gave the more believable testimony? Oscar or her? Her testimony does mirror Troy Ave's testimony. Oscar's doesn't. We're going to go over Oscar's testimony real quick. I don't know if you picked that up because you was just listening to what I was saying or because you was in the courtroom. And this is why I'm constantly saying if there's anybody that I'm saying something or I'm not saying something or whatever, put it in the chat. This is why I say that. Whether that's Trife or not Trife. That might not be Trife Gangster. He said Trife Gangster got better things to do. I will say this much. I would be honored if he was watching the show, but it will also surprise me because of the situation and the topic that we're currently talking about. You understand? Nah, Trife, you come up here and talk, or how can we believe that's you? Because remember, we got a lot of fake pages. Just so we can be clear. There's a lot of fake pages. So I'm going to engage, but I'm going to engage to a certain degree. And if you also remember, Casanova said no one helped him. So he was alone. I don't care who you with. If nobody's helping you, you alone. And you said Casanova's name, and Casanova was the one that said nobody helped him. You could be with 1 million people. If some go down and everybody watching, you alone. So, we're going to go over Oscar's testimony. And all right, so the fake Trife Gangsters page said something, and I want y'all to hear this. Pay attention. There was 3 witnesses from the defense. It was Oscar, it was Homegirl, and it was a Private Eye. Right? And I 100% believe that Trife is somewhere feeding the homeless or something. That's a fact. I 100% believe that. Hold on, somebody sent me something. Somebody sent me a video, but I can't really see his face to tell if he was beat up. But we've already had testimony where people said that he was beat up. So I believe he was beat up. So Oscar, just so we can be clear, said he went to the green room, entered the building, VIP was packed. But I want to tell y'all something, and this is the reason why I'm not really looking at anything that dude said. I'm going to tell you why I'm not looking at anything that dude said. Listen and pay attention. Listen and pay attention. I don't know if that's Trife. I don't know if that isn't Trife. But listen and pay attention. If that is Trife, he can hit me up. If not, then obviously he can't. Listen and pay attention. Dude said that he can see TAXSTONE from across the room. Every other person that mentioned how many people was in that room said that that room was packed to the gills, that people were shoulder to shoulder. I don't believe that there was this is just me. Y'all ask me about my beliefs, what I think. I don't believe, this is just my opinion, that if that room was as small as it was, and there's individuals saying somewhere between 50 to 80 people was in that room, that there's any way that he could have saw TAXSTONE from across the room. Being TAXSTONE is shorter than other people. He's 5'7". So I don't think he saw TAXSTONE from across the room. And dude looked like he was about 5'7", 5'8". So both of these individuals aren't necessarily the tallest people in the world. So it's hard for me to believe that he saw TAXSTONE from across the room. That's one. Two, if the room is packed, what makes more sense? Somebody sitting on the refrigerator or somebody not sitting on the refrigerator and there's fucking ice creams on top of the refrigerator? That's two. Three, it's a refrigerator. I don't think, if anything, he was saying the ice creams were sitting on top of the refrigerator. He could have just meant in the refrigerator, but in the top of the refrigerator. Once again. So, just so we could be clear, not only do I think that his testimony was not one of the testimonies that the jury is going to pay very close attention to, but in addition to that, I think that his testimony was so vague that you really can't take it into consideration whether TAXSTONE did the thing or not. I think that his testimony was vague. You understand? And I don't know if it was vague on purpose, because the prosecution didn't even ask him questions like what I'm talking about right now. You understand? Like, then he said he turned his back and the door was hitting him. Homegirl said the door was hitting her. So it's, who do you think was being more honest? Him or Homegirl? Homegirl was already established as whatever she is, and he's trying to get in the music industry. This is TAXSTONE's face. I don't know if you could see whether he looks like he might have, I don't know. Somebody said he looked like he got beat ups. I have no idea, but this is TAXSTONE's face. Do look a little puffy, a little different than he would normally look. His lip does look a little whatever. R.I.P. Banger, that's a fact. But Nightman, I don't know if that's the real Trife or not, but that's a problem probably all you in pages have. You can literally just go to the page. Nah, this ain't. I don't think this is TAXSTONE's. I don't think this is Trife's page. Hold on, there's a whole nother Trife page. Nah, I don't think this is Trife's page. It says 9 subscribers. That's definitely a fake Trife. That's definitely a fake Trife gangster page. But it was a good question that I wanted to respond to. There's a ton of questions that I'll be waiting for you guys to bring up. Y'all just don't be bringing the damn questions up. So. Yeah, that's probably not Trife. G says, I wonder if there's any other deals I've made because 1 year for all that, said all that damage. Nah, Trife always, just so we can be clear, I see him in the courtroom every time he comes to the court. I'm assuming he's grieving. I've saw Trife in different venues. You understand? I've saw Trife in different venues, and for the most part, he's always been welcoming and been a pretty cool guy. I don't got nothing with him. You understand? No, I don't personally have any negative feeling towards anyone in this case. Just so we can be clear. What up, lovely? Peace, salute. Yeah, I don't have no negative feelings towards anyone. I don't have no negative feelings towards anyone in this case. I just want to be clear on that. 0 people. And I don't really see any reason why any of them should have any negative feelings towards me. So I'm not even really thinking in that manner. You understand what I'm saying? I'll go to the office. Shoot me the address on Instagram. But I maybe after all of this is over, if he would like to talk about the trial, maybe he don't. Exactly, Roll Runner. Somebody lost their life, and I don't think that's big enough put on it. I don't think a big enough onus is put on that. In any regard, are y'all ready to hear go over Troy Ave's testimony again? If y'all ready for me to go over Troy Ave's testimony again, let me know. I don't know whose lawyer did what. I'm just telling you what the story is. The story is that his lawyer did it. Copy? Are y'all ready for me to go over the Troy Ave testimony again? And do y'all want me to go over the complete testimony or only pieces? What up, Dark Side? And I want to say this. I want to say this just to say this. I do appreciate the people that have a vested interest in this, that see me, and they appreciate the fact that I'm non-biased. I'm not taking no sides, and I'm not trying to get nobody caught up, nor trying to get anybody off. And they understand that at times I'm going to say things that is not going to be what they want to hear because I'm talking about the actual case. There's no way for me to say every single thing that both sides want to hear. All I could do is talk about both sides of the coin. That's the best I could do. There's no way I can just say what one side want to hear and be non-biased or unbiased. Um, I have to talk about both aspects of the case. Just like I have to talk about the things that might be condemning to tax, I also have to talk about the things that are exonerating for him. You understand? That's just the way it works. Just like I have to talk about, some of the things that Troy Ave, like, what the hell was going on with you? I still have to also talk about the things Troy Ave where it's understanding why he might have done something. You understand? In all fairness. That's just the way that this is done. We are not what you mean always caught on one side. What you mean by that, Tunes? We are not we are not a gossip page. This isn't a gossip channel. We're not gossip. I don't know no better way to put that. We're not Shock TV. We're not TMZ. Shout out to TMZ. I'm not saying that to, talk shit about them. I'm just saying that's not what we do. When there's nothing else in the news spin but gossip, we talk about that. It is what it is. Let me respond to this comment real quick. The court officers most of the court officers in that building that I've seen is actually Black and Latino. So you saying white court officers is incorrect. Also, the big L is that there was a man's life that was lost. I get it. You think that the most important thing is how much money people are making. You count in the pockets of the hardworking court officers, the judge, and the lawyers, but you're not thinking about how that man and his family, how that family lost a son, lost a brother. He might also be a father. I don't know. You're not thinking about that, though. What you're thinking about is the money that people are going to be making, doing what they think is bringing a person to justice. Your priorities are off. I'm not siding with anyone. Oh, if I was always caught on one side. Yeah, I'm not siding with anyone, though. I don't have no dog in this fight. God first. I have zero dog in this fight. I'm not zero dogs. I have no dogs in this fight. God first. Let his will be done. Whatever happens in court is going to be God's will. Whatever it is. If he gets exonerated, if he goes to jail, it's going to be God's will. Period. Give me 1 second. We're going to be right back. And if you come in here saying anything weird about God, I'm immediately kicking you. I'm not even playing with it. As soon as I get money to pay Star, I will. As soon as I get money to pay Star, I will. People always talking about I should be paying people for stuff. Where's this money coming from? The fuck, fam? For the person that think that said I should pay Star, why don't you start pulling up to the Cash App? How about that? You telling me what I should do with my money, I'm telling you what you should do with yours. Is that fair? Is that fair? Let's hit that like button. Let's go over. I'm gonna read another Huddy. Shout out to Huddy, says respect. Hold on, we about to read the testimony. Shout out to Huddy. He says respect the factual stand and BBN takes. You want the gossip and drama? You got to check his A alike from Jersey show. His, I don't know what that means. Michael Finley says salute Froze BBN. Keep doing your thing, bro. We out here. We doing everything we can, man. We doing what we do. Fuckers is crazy. Anyway, let's go over Troy Ave's testimony real quick. First thing I want to do while we're going over the testimony, just so we can be clear. Good, that allows us to see the chat. Just so we can be clear, Troy Ave, street artist, rapper, yada yada, producer, record, performs labels, performer. He owns trucking businesses. He's an entertainer, owns some real estate, clothing brand. Real quick, so he met with the DA, and these are some of the things that he had to admit to doing, just so we could be clear. In July of 24th, 2003, he was arrested for possession of a gun. He took a plea, youthful offender, went to a program, case dismissed and sealed. In 2005 to 2009, he was driving with a suspended license. He paid the fine. In early 2002, he sold drugs. Not sure what year. When the music took off, he stopped selling the drugs. That was around 2013. He sold kilos of coke. His music took off, so he stopped selling. In 2007, he got caught with an ear gun, a BB gun. In July 19th in 2000, he shot out. He was in a shootout. He got hit, but he didn't hit anyone. Shoot. And he also shot the gun New Year's Eve, stuff like that, gun ranges. He was a Crip when he was 15 to 18. So basically, he wasn't trying to be a Crip. What happened was all of his friends that he hung out with in the neighborhood, they was Crips. So he just became Crip by, I guess, osmosis. I don't know how that works. Okay, that's what it is. About the, so also, just so we can be clear, he got charged in an attempt murder May 25th, 2016. He was initially charged for this attempt murder. He was immediately arrested. For everybody that don't know, he got arrested straight from the hospital. Shout out to Ganju. Yeah, shout out to King of New Jersey. Salute. He's Crip by association, yes, sir. And in May 25th, 2016, he was initially arrested immediately for this charge with attempt murder because of the shooting when he was shooting the gun. The incident began inside of the VIP room. He got shot in both of his legs. He wasn't charged for anything that happened inside of the VIP room. So he has never been charged for the murder of Benga. Just want to be clear on that. He's never been charged for that. He was charged for going outside of the VIP room and shooting a gun, attempt murder. He didn't speak to the DA because he didn't know what to do. He didn't know whether this was a street thing or whether it was an internet thing. In July 11th, 2016, the DA gave him a bail package, which had him have an ankle monitor on. Gave him a bail package, which had him have an ankle monitor on. Okay, I can't accept your request right now, Justin Frank, because my Venmo is on my other phone, but you can send the donation, and I should be able to see it, just so we can be clear. Shout out to Angela. I just saw this, Angela. My apologies. Shout out to Angela. She says, free TAXSTONE. Thanks for the hand. Thanks for the hard work. Shout out to Angela with the $30 drop. Definitely appreciate you, baby girl. You the best over there, doing all of the things. Who's next? Pulling our blessings down from the heavens. So I can't accept your friend request at the moment for Venmo, but I should be able to see whatever you send, and then I'll let everybody know. With that being said, to July 11th, 2016, the DA gave him a bail package. He had to have an ankle monitor on. He immediately paid the bail and was released. He did not meet with the DA immediately after that. February 2017, the bail was modified. I guess that's when he actually met with the DA. The bail was modified so that he could perform, and he had to have a license and armed security. In spring 2017, they removed the ankle monitor. He went out of the country, and that violated his bail conditions. In February 8th, 2017, don't ask me why they jumping like this, they just are. In February 18th, 2017, that was the first time that he met with the DA. People around him convinced him that it was not a street thing. Apparently, shout out to Frank. I don't want to put your, with the dub drop, I don't want to put your information. I don't want to put your information. But shout out to Frank with the dub drop. Let me read it. I can't see it on this phone. I want to apologize. I can't see your comments on this phone because I don't have Venmo on this phone. It's on that phone. The shout out to Frank with the dub drop. Something I saw him say is keep going. He says, keep doing your shit, dog. Appreciate you, my brother. You already know what it is. Salute. In February 8th, 2017, that was the first time that he met with the DA. Troy Ave said the people around him actually convinced him to do this. He said he met with like a minister, his pastor, or whatever the case might be. And besides meeting with his pastor, he has a rabbi that lived near him. A neighbor, a rabbi neighbor, he spoke with him. So basically he's saying he spoke with clergy. He spoke with us also, by the way, just so we can be clear. I forgot what I said, but we spoke over here on this page. I think some of y'all that was in the chat actually encouraged it. He said after being constantly antagonized, he decided to turn a witness. April 26, 2017, he met with the DA. They discussed the case, made the cooperation agreement, and People's 2079 People's 2079 plea agreement was then entered. The plea agreement was just then entered into evidence at People's 279. His charges are, just so everybody can know what his charges are, attempted, he was indicted for attempted murder, second degree weapons possession. There was 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon, and there was 2 counts of firing outside of home, having a firearm outside of the home or workplace or business. So I'll explain this real quick. The second degree attempt murder was when he was firing the gun. Right? And that we also on camera. And that was also second degree weapon possession because that was not his weapon. You understand? Pardon me. The second degree weapon possession was when they got the gun from him, but that wasn't his gun because TAXSTONE had already pled guilty to that gun in federal court, just so we can be clear. So the 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon was the 2 guns in which they got out of the vehicle. And whenever they catch you with a weapon, it's not just you get that count. It's also you get the count of having the weapon not in your home and or workplace. Because if they come into your home and you have a gun inside of your home, you're going to get charged with criminal possession of a weapon. But you're in your home or your workplace. But if you get caught with that same gun not in your home or workplace, you're going to get both charges, criminal possession of a weapon, and you're going to have having a firearm outside of your home and or workplace. Those are two separate charges. Anyway, that is a starts at 5.5 to 25-year sentence. He's also 3.5 to 15 for each of the guns that he had got caught with. 3.5 to 15, just so we can be clear. The prosecutor's office is going to recommend 1 year in jail if they like his testimony. And I want to say something real quick. I don't care what happens to TAXSTONE. I do believe that he did. Well, I'm not saying I don't care what happens to TAXSTONE as in anything negative. I'm saying whether TAXSTONE is exonerated or found guilty, whatever the case is, I do believe that Troy Ave got on the stand and did what they wanted him to do. So therefore, he should get recommended for 1 year. Shout out to Team Moto Productions. He will be allowed to change his plea to attempted possession of a weapon. That's 0 to 7 years. Just so we can be clear on all of the gun charges. And I'm not sure what they're going to do with the attempt murder charge. So I don't expect for him to go back to jail again. I don't expect for him to do a year. I don't expect for him to do no time. Just so we can be straight. He has to give complete and truthful testimony, or he will be sentenced to what he has already pled guilty to, and he can receive the agreement even if the defendant is found not guilty. He got a very funny night, man. He was encouraged to do music to get out of the streets. His peoples was doing music. He was selling drugs. They was all selling drugs, I guess. He was in the studio. They encouraged him to do music so he could get out of the streets. They made his own mixtape after he couldn't afford to get on other DJs' mixtape. They was charging $2,500 to get on the mixtape. He spent a couple $100 and made his own mixtape. He said it didn't work out immediately, so he went back to the streets. He said he sold 8 balls, basically. He never stopped making mixtapes. He was selling the drugs, but he never stopped making mixtapes. And when he made enough money, he stopped selling drugs. He mentioned 2 albums specifically in court: I'm in Traffic and Bricks in My Backpack. In 2013, his music career started taking off. In 2014, he was on the XXL cover. In early 2000, that's when they started the label BSB, Brick Star Boys, or Brick Star Entertainment. That's what it was. He doesn't really rap about drugs. That's what they said. His music is about ambition and hustling. So basically, I believe what he was trying to say. He's rapping about drugs, but he's not rapping about drugs saying use drugs or sell drugs. He's rapping about drugs because he's trying to encourage ambition in other people and for and street stuff, and to get other people to be hustlers and to get people hustling and stuff like that. He raps about violence, but not senseless violence. He says all music starts on the foundation of truth. So everything that he says is completely true, but it does start with a nugget of truth, a foundation of truth. He said he knew Benga since high school. He said Benga was not licensed security, but he was a very good person, a very helpful person. He said Benga got him into working out, eating healthy. He got his music played. He was on radio stations or whatever by DJs. He said he acted as security. He said anything that he needed, Benga would do it. Around 2012 was the first time that he came in contact with TAXSTONE. He said after a tweet where he was mentioned, he replied back. He said to him in the tweet, that's how rappers end up in a wheelchair. TAXSTONE, he replied back to TAXSTONE, and TAXSTONE said to him, that's how rappers end up in wheelchairs. Then he said he was constantly bullied, constant harassment, always mentioning him personally and professionally. R.I.P. Benga, personally and professionally. And he said all of this was happening even before he had a podcast. He said occasionally he responded to the tweets. He said the first time they actually met was at a Brooklyn bowling alley. He said he was hanging out with some friends. They had a mutual friend. and that Tax was actually outside of the bowling alley at this point. So Tax was actually outside the bowling alley. So he called Dude to let Dude know he was outside, and Dude was inside with Av. So Dude went to Troy Ave and was like, yo, you know, Tax is outside. Is it cool he come in? Like, is there going to be any smoke or anything like that? Troy Ave said, nah, it's cool. Right? So he came in. They spoke. He said Tax apologized. And then he said he thought it was over. And then all of a sudden, the negative tweet started again. He said after that, he only saw him in passing downtown. He said they would acknowledge each other with nods. That was it. He said that they would acknowledge Tax, that they would acknowledge each other with nods. That's about it. He said 2014, he saw him at a video shoot for Mano. Meek Mill was supposed to be there, but he wasn't. He said in 2015, he dropped a diss song called Lower Level Nutsack. So nobody knew what he said when he said that. So apparently he had to say it like 3 or 4 times. And then he explained what it meant. Everybody started laughing. I don't know what to tell you, man. So everybody started laughing. He said there was constant negative tweets and harassment. And that's why he wrote Lower Level Nutsack. He chose to defend himself in the music. He said that morphed from tweets to interviews. So TAXSTONE had been disrespected. Also, let's get those likes up if y'all don't mind. Let's see if we get to 200 likes today. Let's shoot for about 130 right now. Let's see if we get to 130 likes. He says that the harassment, which was tweets and like I guess Instagram posts, it morphed from that. Now he was doing interviews about Troy Ave, and then he said he had feuds with artists, like other people he feuded with, but it was never at this level. We took a break. Jury comes back at about 11:55. He said May 25th, 2016, he was in the studio before going to Irving Plaza he was there at the studio between 9 and 7. Basically, they had an event. Hovain was there. Hovain put it together. He had an event, or Hovain was there. He had an event for his artists. It was like a listening party, if you ever know what a listening party is. So they was drinking, but he didn't really have that many drinks because the vodka, I guess, was the main drink there, and he don't really drink vodka like that. Give me one moment. I'm going to throw this in the microwave real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Definitely gonna shoot some hoops today. It looks nice outside. Not too windy. The sun is out. It's supposed to get up to like 50. When I was growing up as a kid, if it was like 45 degrees outside, it was still basketball weather. And I ain't gonna lie to you. It was 45 degrees outside, it was still basketball weather. And I'm talking about basketball outside with shorts. Anyway, let's get those likes up. So he goes on in May 25th. Since we took a break, look, the judge had took a break right there. So I decided to take a quick break also. Shout out to the judge. He knows what he's doing. Shout out to Judge Abraham Clot, the Honorable Abraham Clot. Anyway, also, we're not calling that chick Doc Keenan no more. We calling her Darth Keenan. She transferred over to she always stands in front of my way whenever I'm trying to look at the damn board to see what it is. So we call her Darth Keenan. And the chick that's with her, because there's always two. It's the rule of two. Anyway, May 25th, 2016, they were in the studio. They were having, I guess, a listening party for the artists from the record label. That was right before they actually went to R.I.P. Banger. That's right before they actually went to the venue, Irving Plaza. Then People's 293 was introduced. There was a slight confusion if there was going to be People's 292 or 294. But as People's 293 was introduced, that's a photo of Block, Banger, Hovain, and Scheme. They went to Irving Plaza because T.I. invited them as special guests. So apparently, Troy Ave has a relationship with T.I. So this relationship that he has with T.I., whenever he goes to Atlanta, T.I. pulls up for him. And whenever he comes to New York, he pulls up for T.I. You understand? So when he goes to Atlanta, T.I. calls him out and like, come out, we're doing a thing tonight. Boom, you in town. And whenever T.I. comes up, pardon me, when he goes to Atlanta, he calls T.I. out. Boom, we doing a thing. Come chill. Right? You know, because he's down there to work. And whenever T.I. comes to New York, he calls Troy Ave up and be like, yo, boom, come out. I'm assuming the other individuals that was there was also probably called by T.I. You understand what I'm saying? He's calling people to come, you know, work. You know what I'm saying? Like, come get busy. Come hang out with me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in town for a night. In any regard, T.I. tried to sign him. So when he comes to New York, he calls Troy Ave. He tried to sign him. Troy Ave didn't sign with him. But, you know, they still got a relationship. He didn't expect to see Tax at Irving Plaza. He said he never before seen Tax at events like this that he attends. So usually when he goes out to any of these events, he's saying, generally speaking, he never sees TAXSTONE. So this was like a new thing to him, just so we can be clear. If you get kicked out of the room, just come right back. So this was just a new thing for him, apparently. So they drove to the event. Banger, Block, Hovain, Scheme, and Young Lido. In the vehicle, they had the 38 stashed, and the 9mm Taurus was already stashed in the vehicle. That's what they brought with them. They did not take it out the vehicle. That's what they said. They had a trap in the vehicle installed about 2 years prior to Irving Plaza so they could hide money, jewelry, and weapons, just so we can be clear. He had guns to protect himself. It wasn't at the point where he was able to hire just security to just roll with him. So he brought guns with him to protect himself. He would bring guns. He would bring guns in venues only when they lacked security or when the venues had a close association with whoever the local thugs was, which makes perfectly good sense to me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not really commenting on this. I'm just reading the thing. But, I mean, I think all of you rappers, if any of you is doing that, it makes sense. If you go in somewhere where you know that the local thugs is got run over the people who own the club, you should probably be careful. Remember those dudes that just was supposed to be doing a show, I think it was in Detroit, and they just got found missing? It was 3 of them. He had guns for protection. He would bring guns in vehicle when security lacked or they had association with the local thugs. He bought guns, but he never fired them. He figured he'd take the attempt murder. After all of this happened, he had figured that he'd take the attempt murder charge. Hovain was going to take a gun charge, and Young Lido would take the other gun charge. But Young Lido had told them that if if he asks him to take that damn gun charge one more time, that young Lito was going to the DA. Young Lito is going to tell the DA everything. I don't know what that means, but he said everything. So maybe there's more things. I don't know. But he said that young Lito said, if you ask me about them damn guns one more dang time, I'm going to the judge. I'm telling the DA everything. So apparently they didn't ask young Lito to do anything. just telling you what happened. He said they did not bring guns into Irving Plaza. He said the hip hop police deterred him because they asked him. They said, yo, why wouldn't you bring guns in Irving Plaza? He said, R.I.P. Hovain. He said the hip hop police deterred him from bringing guns in the Irving Plaza. He didn't want to have issues with them. He says basically early on when they was doing whatever they was doing, the hip hop police pulled up on them. And when the hip hop police pulled up on them, they start telling them this, they start telling them that. And it was just like, you know what? We don't want to have no problems with you guys. So whenever we're going to go do anything, they contact the hip hop police when they on the way to go perform at a venue or whenever they going out to go do anything. They're contacting, or at least Troy Ave, whenever he's going to go do a thing. They're contacting the hip hop police so the hip hop police can show up. He lets them know where he was. He spoke with them. But it was then discerned that it wasn't him that spoke with them. It was somebody else that actually made the call. He lets the hip hop police know where he's going to be at Irving Plaza. So he did let the hip hop police know that he was going to be at Irving Plaza that night. If you are getting kicked, I have no control over that. Just come back. That's all I can say. I have no control over you being kicked right now. If you are being kicked, just come back. Hip hop police know he was going to be at Irving Plaza. He said the hip hop police are part of the NYPD. He said at about 9:30, he arrived at Irving Plaza. He entered through the side entrance. He saw the police presence. Basically, when he got to the side entrance, what had happened is that T.I.'s people allegedly came and met them at the door or something along those lines. They said they entered Irving Plaza with Block, Banger, B-Boy, Young Lito, and Scheme. He met with T.I.'s camp before entering Irving Plaza. They went to the second level, right above the stage. They went past the bar to the VIP room. They was heading through the route that you got to go so he could go perform. He said the VIP was small and packed, about 80 people. He said was up to people and took pictures. He said they were halfway through the room at this point when they heard what's popping. He ignored it. He heard it twice. He wasn't really thinking nothing of it. And he heard Banger say it back. And that's when he knew there was an issue. And he figured out who the voice was because he saw somebody else in there. So he was like, oh, you were him. So then he saw that he reached towards, and he was gesturing that he had a gun, talking about he saw TAXSTONE gesturing like he had a gun. Banger turns and says that he's going to rock him. Troy winks, says go. I'm not sure if he audibly said go or if the wink was to basically inferring it. I'm not 100% sure. He says Tax reached like he was going to pull. He threw a punch over Banger's shoulder. With his right hand. And he reached for the gun with his left hand. He wasn't able to grab the gun. There was a big commotion. He gets knocked off off balance. He falls, but he doesn't fall to the ground. He falls on top of people. He said Banger and Tax was tussling, and that's when the shots went off. He said Banger had him by the shoulders. They was like locked up like wrestlers. You know how like wrestling? He said they were very close, like high school wrestling. He says that specifically. He said they were crouched down and bent over. He said he sees the light from the spark in between Banger and TAXSTONE leading towards the door. He says not even arm's length. There wasn't even an arm's length between the two. He said the spark headed towards the door in Banger's direction. He said he started fighting with Tax again. Thought he pulled him to the ground. Tax slipped out. He said then Troy fell to the ground when Tax slipped out of his grasp. He said then Tax fires. And when he's in court, he specifically mentioned that Tax kind of turned and was leaving and then turned back. He said he fires. When he turned back is when I guess Troy lifts his leg up to protect himself and his face. Then he said he got up and held off Tax, and they was fighting for the gun. He got up, he got a hold of Tax. They started fighting for the gun. He said the lights went out and Tax fired more shots. He said Troy said he put his finger behind the trigger so he couldn't shoot no more. He gets more control, so he stands and tries to hit him over the head. Now I want to be clear about something. One of the things Troy said was when he had him, and he was fighting, the gun was coming near his face. So he was scared, I guess, of also getting shot in the head because the gun kept coming near his face. So he put the finger in the back of the trigger to prevent TAXSTONE from pulling the trigger anymore. I'm just telling you what he said on the stand. You could discern what you want out of it. He says he gets more control, so he starts to try to hit Tax over the head. Then he gets control over the gun. Somebody says, let's go. Cops is here. Only Block was still standing, was still there with him. The only person that was still there with him was Avon Bloxdale. He says when they first went in the room, where he says they wasn't halfway in the room when they first heard what's popping, they going over the situation again because they played the videotape. He saw the gun in the defendant's hand when he tried to pull Tax to the ground, heard more shots, thought someone was helping him. Because he said when he tried the second time when he tried to pull TAXSTONE down, it was easy. It was easier. The first time he tried to pull TAXSTONE down, he slipped out of his grasp. It wasn't easy. But the second time he tried to pull TAXSTONE down, it was easier. So he thought Banger was still helping him. He says Tax was headed out of the room when he slipped out of his grasp, and then he turned and fired the shot. Troy put his right leg up to block the bullet, knew that his shot was immediately. He got up and started fighting. This time he grabbed the gun first and then grabbed him with a horse collar. Anybody that know football know the horse collar technique. It's leaguers. He said Tax head around Troy Ave's neck and chest area. He said Tax had two hands on the gun. Troy was trying to get the gun, and Tax was trying to keep it. He said Troy says he's trying to get it away from his face. He says Troy bites the back of Tax's neck, then Tax bites his forearm. He says Tax was firing the gun when they struggled, and Troy put his finger behind the trigger. He says he tries to hit Tax with the butt of the gun, but he wasn't effective because Tax still had control of the gun. And then once again, he says, somebody yells, the police is coming. He wasn't sure if others were involved with the struggle for the gun. He says he leaves, Tax leaves VIP, but can't remember who he was with. He says 7 people was left in the VIP after the confrontation. He said Block was the only one that he came with that was still in the room. He said, we out. He wasn't aware that Benga got hit. He still has weapon after leaving the room. He saw Tax. The gun jammed. He re-racked it, then he fired it. After he walked towards the entrance to leave out, he was shot in both legs. He went to leave out and he saw Benga. He was on the floor. He still had the gun. And he was with Block. He says he tries to get Benga up, but his eyes was to the back of his head. He tried to pick him up with Block. He said his shirt was red. He could tell he was shot. He said Mano walked right past him. He said, Block, take the gun. He gave Block the gun and he told him to leave. And then the police came. At that point, the prosecution plays a different video. They played a video in slow motion so you can hear the shots. He said in that video, the TMZ video, he does not see himself and he does not see Benga. Shout out to Darkwing. Salute. Troy said he hit TAXSTONE. In this, while he was on the stand, he said he hit TAXSTONE. People's 92 is a photo of the VIP room. Troy Ave said he's currently suing Irving Plaza for allowing guns on the premises. He says he does not know Malcolm Kenyon. He said he released songs about the incident. Then cross-examination from the defense. I want to stop right here. We're about to get into what the defense, cross-examination of the defense, but I'm going to read some comments. I'm going to scroll up a little. I'm going to start with No Pencil Sports and saying the boy Tax is in jail for hating. Brother OTG says, I'm saying Troy Ave about to be the only person in history to get to do all that NYC with illegal guns and get no time. Well, he served a couple of months, too. EIBB says, TAXSTONE was faithfully listening to all Troy Ave music. Huddy says, Tax told and signed a statement before he was even charged with this. He only had a gun charge and gave statements on Troy, Benga, Trife, etc. He was shook from that gun charge and started singing. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying that's something that I would want to know more about. EIB says, what's his explanation? Brother OTG says, salute the force for dropping facts. Salute. Huddy says he raps about all the things. Then he gets the things and does the things. That's why he had all the things. All of the things. Stan Edmonds also, RIP, Benga, RIP, Hovain. Stan Edmonds says, free tax. Brother OTG says, everyone has a right to feel how they feel. I'm not debating your feelings. B says, at Stan Edmonds, hopefully a dude like Tax does do what he did to you. Okay, we're not doing that. Huddy says, RIP Benga, Tax a cornball that is about to get what? Okay, we're not doing that. Brother OTG says, I'm just saying NYC is known for strict gun laws, and we watch man shoot on camera an illegal gun and caught with the stash spot and 2 more guns and got 0 time. He got 2 months. No pad, no pen says Frost needs a Pulitzer Prize for his journalism. I appreciate you. B says it's okay, brother OGG. He offended coward. Okay, I'm not going to read your comments. Not because I don't appreciate them, but because I don't take a sentiment into what you're saying. So I don't want anybody to get the misconception that I do. T Small says, Ab was the only artist brave enough to stand his ground in person with Tax. All others he trolled was afraid of him. Brother OTG said, but stay at me. Okay, y'all having a conversation. Huddy says, it's not that New York doesn't prosecute Troy. Troy is still on papers, though. He paid a lot of money to his lawyers and on bail. New York strict laws affect you differently when you got money. New York is actually getting TAXSTONE or Troy Ave to be a witness in a case, and part of his testimony or part of the agreement that they made for his testimony is alleviating him of some of these issues that he has in the judicial system. They've been doing that for since who knows when. That's been a thing forever, to be upset that Troy Ave is taking advantage of this loophole or this circumstance. I don't know how fair that is. If the same people that are upset at Troy Ave over this, if TAXSTONE would have did it and it would have been reversed, would you have been upset then? If you say you would have been upset, I disagree. EB, I'm just gonna call you EB. Tax was a shock job. You're just arguing. EB says once he got attention from big artists, he would make amends and get interviews. Yeah, but niggas don't want to talk to niggas talking crazy about them. I think I'm gonna say something real quick. I think that's fake shit. I think if somebody talking crazy about you, and then you go and you make a, how are you making amends with somebody talking crazy about you? I don't understand that logic. Like if you talking crazy about me, we're never gonna be friends. I'm just being clear. I don't know no better way to say that. We're never gonna be friends. I'm never coming on your program. I'm never gonna be in a conversation with you. Like there's nothing for us to talk about. I don't even want to argue with you. I don't want to debate with you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to go back and forth with you. Nothing. Imagine, just so we can understand this logic, and I'm not saying that this has anything to do with Tax and Troy Ave. I'm just saying from my standpoint, in having absent Tax or Troy Ave, if you're minding your business and somebody else is hating on you, why in the hell would you make amends with them? You've done nothing. They decided, for whatever their reason is, to hate on you. For whatever their reason is, they decided they were going to use their platform to speak about you negatively. Why would you make amends with them? I think that's fake. And what I mean by that is, I mean that when you do things like that, you aren't doing what your godly duties are. You understand? Like, how is the Most High gonna then protect you from the people that's doing evil to you if you decide the evil is okay? So we're never supposed to say that the evil is okay. Never. We're never supposed to be on that side. For the people who agree that the evil is okay, God isn't going to come and defend you. God isn't going to come and fight for you. So I'm not talking about in this particular case. I'm explaining to you how the Bible works. If you did not do anything to a person, I don't care if they're pretending some small little tiny slight is why they're attacking you. I don't care. If you've done no things to a person, zero things, they're just in their own mind deciding for whatever reason you did something to them. In their own mind. The last thing. Now, forgiving a person is one thing, because we're not supposed to hold grudges. But you are 100% not supposed to then allow for this person to be around you and deal with you. Why would you? They obviously got a spirit on them that their spirit and your spirit don't go together. Why would you invite that spirit that goes against your spirit, that energy, that vibration, that goes against your vibration into your circumference. You understand? So I'm not talking about Troy Ave and TAXSTONE. I'm just saying in general. So that's why I would never, under any circumstances, fuck with anyone, deal with anyone, befriend anyone that has ever disrespected me for no reason. I would just never do that because I want God to fight for me. Keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. All right? Keep that in mind. The next time somebody tell you, when somebody that disrespected you for no reason, you're supposed to go deal with them. Keep that in mind. There's a reason why, and I'm not trying to, y'all know I mess, y'all know I'm with the Most High on everything. Right? Y'all know I'm with the Most High on everything. So this isn't about, I don't want to stop for a second. This isn't about tax. This isn't about tax. This isn't about tax. This isn't about Troy Ave. This is just about a thing. I understand this. There's a reason why God's most anointed go through the longest periods of F-ups. While when God has his hand on your shoulder, you go through a long period of time of things not working. Because when that turns around for you, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be more than you could have dreamed. It's going to be more than you could have imagined. Because I promise you, when you're going through whatever you're going through, there's people that's already on the other side that recognize you. They know who you are. They're seeing your struggles. And they want to see if you could be turned into the thing that you're trying to get away from. You understand? I'm just explaining this. What Satan is trying to do is always turn you into the thing that God don't want you to be. So they send things in your way to try to get you to be that way. That's why we don't engage. You get it? Don't engage. If you want God to fight your battles, you just keep doing God's work. If you keep doing God's work, he's going to fight your battles. He's going to put you somewhere. There's going to be angels everywhere. You're going to probably think you got a lot to worry about, but in reality, you don't got nothing to worry about. Can we get back to this real quick? I get crap talked to me all the time, homie. When I was younger and stupider and didn't understand my value, yeah, I engaged it all. But now I don't, because I know God is fighting for me. So I don't want to engage. I don't want to engage because I know God is fighting for me. I don't think it. So just be mindful out there. And never, ever, ever forget what Satan is trying to do is trying to get you to go down to their level. Because once Satan gets you to go down and be less than what you are, they won. Keep a rich mind. How that the dude says that on Instagram. Keep a rich state of mind. He say something like that. Think above where you are. Satan always wants us to think under where we are. Whenever somebody come and remind you about your past, you tell them about your present. How about that? Whenever anybody try to remind you about your past and talk crazy, you tell them about your present. What are you doing presently? What are they doing? All they're going to do is talk about how they're watching you. God first. At all times. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It ain't easy. It wasn't meant to be easy. My fault. I didn't mean to get off into a tangent on that stuff. Somebody just said something and it absolutely triggered me. I ain't gonna lie. Could we see what our word is for the day? I can't say the whole passage, obviously. Proverbs, verse 3, line 7. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. Proverbs, verse 3, line 7. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. What was we just talking about? What was we just talking about? There's a reason why people want you to think I'm crazy. There's a reason why people don't want you. There's a reason why people want you to think the things that I'm saying you should disregard. Now ask them who their boss is. Ask them who their God is. I'm not here to argue back and forth with people. So I'm not here to argue back and forth with people. I would prefer, if you have argumentative tones, to keep it amongst yourself in the chat. Because I'm not here to argue with nobody. You understand? Because if I argue with you, or if you say something and then I speak and show you where the flaw is, people are going to say I'm being biased. So that's why when people say things in the chat often, and it's flawed, at least to my belief, it's flawed. It has flaw, F-L-A-W. It's flaw in it. I don't say anything because the rest of you have been in here long enough and heard me to repeat things enough times that if somebody comes into our chat and say something that is incorrect, you should be able to inform them without me looking like I'm being biased. But I will address this one point because I've never seen this. I haven't seen Doug Fresh in here in a long time. I want to address this one point, and that's why I wanted to say that. TAXSTONE saying Troy Ave's music is trash is not what they consider to be bullying. What they consider to be bullying, or might consider to be bullying, we don't know yet, is the fact that during a period of time from 2012 to 2016, TAXSTONE either mentioned or added Troy Ave about 714 times, while Troy Ave only mentioned or added him 53 times. Just so we could be clear. Just so we could be clear. What up, Kittens Touch? What up, OG Dread? Just so we can be clear. How didn't I tell y'all that sooner or later they're gonna about to make that there's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna be in jail for cyberbullying in the future. There's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna lose everything that they got, either through civil court or lose everything they got by going to prison. I promise you. I promise you. I've been paying attention to what they've been doing with the laws. Have you? I've been paying attention. Have you? Because I don't think a lot of people have been paying attention to what's going on with the laws. I don't think a lot of people have been paying attention. I have. I have. This case, if TAXSTONE is found, I don't know what he's going to be found to be. But if TAXSTONE is found guilty, this case is going to be a benchmark. I promise you. I don't know if it's going to be used in civil trials, but it is 100% going to be used in criminal cases. I promise you. Stan Edmonds says cyberbullying is not a legal defense for bringing 2 guns in the whip and shooting into a crowd. Stan Edmonds, you're talking about something that has nothing to do with this case. Can you please at least have your comments have something to do with what we're talking about? What you just said has nothing to do with anything revolving around TAXSTONE. TAXSTONE is on trial. That Joe Pesci guy is trying to get me to repeat myself. It might be the same exact person from that account that I just said the thing from. So y'all can inform Joe Pesci about how many times TAXSTONE was adding and mentioning, and how in contrast with Troy Ave. I'm gonna keep it pushing. So now the defense takes gets the witness. Troy Ave is on the stand. You know what? We're going to do, let's get 150 likes in here. I want 150 likes. How about that? I want 150 damn likes. And then I'm going to go and move on to what the defense said. We're going to get to, I want 150 likes. And then we're going to get to Esquire. We're going to get to what Esquire said. I want 150 likes. And then I'm going to tell you about the cross-examination with Esquire. And I want to add, all attorneys have been doing an excellent job. All attorneys have been doing an excellent job. Esquire's been doing an excellent job, and Darth Keenan has been doing an She's Darth Keenan now. She keeps standing in my way every time there's something up on the damn screen. What you're talking about has nothing to do with the Troy Ave case, Stan. Nothing. Has zero to do with, pardon me, has zero to do with the TAXSTONE case. Zero to do with the TAXSTONE case. No, I actually, whenever Darth Keenan is not doing whatever she's doing, I literally have the best seat. Period. When I sit on the other side, I can't see the jury in total. And when I sit on the other side, I can't see the prosecution at all. Remember, that podium thing is right there. I can't see it at all. That's why I'm sitting on the other side. It has nothing to do with one side or the other. That's just, in my opinion, the best seat. That's why when I can't get that seat, I sit dead in the middle. And then there's one other seat, and I just have to decide that I don't want to see the prosecution. I can't see the apprentice. She's cutie. Shout out to Mike Jones. Salute. Salute to Philly. Let's get to 150, and I'm going to tell you what Esquire had to. I'm going to tell you about his. I should make that 180 because the back and forth between him and Esquire was kind of lit, and I might throw my voice out. To be honest with you, maybe we just do this. What time is it? Oh man, it's already 12 o'clock. I got to get to lunch. They making pasta today. They making pasta today. I got to get ready to go get to lunch. So we might not get to. We'll do this tonight. Y'all want to do it tonight? We'll do the prosecution, Troy Ave prosecution tonight. Because that's long. That's going to probably be like another hour, hour and a half. Maybe an hour. So we'll do the Troy Ave thing tonight. How that sound? That sound good for y'all? Yeah, thank you. They keep trying to have a conversation with me about Troy Ave's charges or lack thereof. TAXSTONE is on trial. Y'all do know that, right? TAXSTONE is on trial. When I see people do that, I be like, y'all guys is bad friends. I be thinking that. I be like, y'all guys is bad friends. Like, y'all know in the court of law, these arguments don't work. They only work when you're talking to people that want to avoid what's happened. You understand? Like, I'm not saying that the man, I don't know what happened that night. So I'm not placing guilt or innocence on anyone. I'm not placing guilt or innocence on anyone. Nah, I'm not taking it no way, Joe Pesci. I'm not taking it no way. I'm not placing guilt or innocence on no one. I wasn't there that night. I just want to be clear about this. But do y'all understand how now do you understand what I mean by when people be in here and they be trying to argue about shit that don't have nothing to do with what we talking about? Like you're arguing about shit that don't got nothing to do with what we're actually talking about, and you think that that's a point. There's a reason why they don't allow these arguments in court. You can't just go to court and say some of these things that y'all think prove one thing or the other. It don't have nothing to really do. It's just prejudicial. Roadrunner says, just goes to show how messy the world is. They will see a victim and still attack too. Look, all I'm saying is this. I have been telling y'all the way court work for years. I got people that don't do anything but make content saying I don't know what I'm talking about. So I want to know why every time I tell y'all how court work, do court work that way? Every time I tell y'all about court, it works that way. That's literally the way it works. So I don't understand. How many times have I been wrong about court? How many times? How many times have I been wrong about the law? How many times? You can probably count it on your hand. And I've been doing the internet for how many years now? You can probably count it on one hand. The times I've been wrong. No, they put no. Well, I'm not doing that. Stan Edmonds. You're trying to play the word game. You're trying to play the word game. I'm not doing that with you. No, you're not repeating what I got. You're not doing that. You're trying to play the word game. I get what you're trying to do. I literally understand what you're trying to do. You do know that, right? Like you're not tricking me. Tell the haters to get in line. The line is to the left. Yeah, he's not. You're not. Okay, yeah, I'm not. Copy. We're not responding back. I'm not responding back to Stan Edmonds no more. He has to do so many good comments for me to read another comment of his. Boom. Thank you, brother OTG. But just so we could be clear, I've been covering court and the law for how many years? How many years have I been covering court and the law? You could probably count the times I've been wrong on one hand and still have fingers left. How many people made YouTube pages talking about I'm wrong about something and it turns out I'm right? I'm not saying made videos, I mean entire pages. How many? Entire pages saying I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the law. How? Please, somebody tell me how. Yeah, 3 witnesses came up to the stand. Two of the witnesses was there that night. My dude, if there's not nothing I know the damn law. Not everything, obviously. But I understand it to a pretty decent degree. Why do you think my notes look the way they look? Why do you think I'm able to take notes the way I'm able to take notes? Because I know what I'm looking at. I know what I hear. I'm not just in there looking for the gossip. I'm in there looking for the applicable laws and how they're used. With that being said, it's lunchtime. Tonight, I expect for us to be talking about Esquire, and when Esquire and Troy Ave was on the stand, I expect for that to be tonight. That's what I expect we're going to be covering tonight. Esquire and Troy Ave on the stand. That's what I expect for us to be covering tonight, just so we can be clear. I hope to see all of you back here. And it'd be nice if we could get to 150 likes. I only need 4 more likes. We only need 4 more likes to get to 150, man. Can we get 4? There's 4 y'all out there that could be like, I'm going to hit that like button for Jack. Excuse me. Excuse me. You know what? You don't have to hit the like button. I'm very pleased with the 146 that we have. If anybody else would like to hit the button, I'd appreciate it. But there is no obligation. I appreciate everybody that showed up in the chat today. I appreciate everybody that dropped comments. I don't disagree and or agree with any comments. If I disagree with your comments, I told you. I just am very happy that you guys are enjoying yourselves. Thank you for the bless you. I'm very happy that you guys are enjoying yourselves. I'm very happy that I am able to give you accurate information on what happened in the courtroom. I think that the lawyers are doing an exemplary job. I think the judge is doing an exemplary job. I think that everyone that is working, especially in the building in general, you know, there's a lot of situations that could have went different. There was a situation in the courtroom that could have went different. There was a situation in front of the building that could have went different. So we also want to give a shout out to all the court officers also, because obviously they're using their higher brain and they're not using the brains of some of these police officers that do traffic stops and all the weirdo shit happen because they got too much testosterone or I don't know, estrogen, whatever the fuck is going on with them. So just everything that has been a pleasure. Everybody is doing their job to the utmost, and I definitely appreciate the experience for one. R.I.P. Banger. It's a tragedy that a man had to lose his life, and another man might be now going to prison for the rest of his life or for a substantial amount of it. So those are the tragedies that are involved here, and I think that we need to always keep that in mind. I think that we have to always keep that in mind. R.I.P. Banger, also R.I.P. Hovain. I think that those are things that we have to definitely keep in mind. And I think that while people are arguing back and forth whether this man should be free or whether this man should not be free, I think that we also have to pay attention to the fact that there is a person that lost their life, that their family can't now be with them, that their family can't spend more time with them, that there's a person who's extremely loved and they're not here anymore to experience any more of what we call life. With that being said, everybody, please just have a beautiful day. And if possible, go be the thing that you think we need more of in the world. So if you think we need more love in the world, go be that. You know, if you think we need more understanding in the world, go be that. Go be the thing that you think that this world is missing. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification game. Hashtag Bros Bones. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you, and that's all I got in this one.